There are moments in life when everything seems to settle into place. Moments when the weight you used to carry feels lighter. When doors open without a fight. When people speak well of you. When the things you once prayed for begin unfolding quietly like a soft sunrise inside the heart. Those moments don't feel dangerous at all. They feel warm, reassuring, almost like proof that life is finally letting you breathe. And yet, in times like these, there is a small, trembling place inside the soul that knows how easily a blessing can become a mirror reflecting the wrong image back to you. Not because God's gifts are unsafe, but because the human heart often forgets who held it together long before success arrived. It's subtle. It doesn't start with arrogance or loud self-confidence. It begins in a hidden place when the mind whispers, "I'm finally strong. I'm finally capable. I'm doing well." Nothing outward looks wrong. You're stable, you're productive, you're respected. But deep inside, the soul can begin to loosen its grip on the one who carried it through every valley. You don't stop loving God, you just stop leaning quite as heavily. You don't stop believing, you just stop listening as closely. You don't stop praying, you just stop depending. And dependence is the place where humility is born. It's where faith grows. It's where pride cannot survive. So when life starts going well, when the pieces begin to fit, when the pressure eases and the path ahead looks clear, that is often the moment the heart must become even more attentive, even more honest, even more willing to look inwards and admit, I need Him just as much now as I did when everything was falling apart. Because success doesn't change the size of the human soul. It doesn't enlarge it or mature it on its own. Success simply reveals what was already inside. It turns up the volume on desires, motives, and hidden places that were easy to ignore in seasons of struggle. And if we are not careful, we begin to treat God's grace like a stepping stone instead of a lifeline. But the truth is, nothing in us is strong enough to stay pure without Him. Nothing in us is wise enough to keep our motives clean without His voice guiding our steps. Nothing in us is steady enough to handle praise without His hand holding the heart low. That is why the soul must keep a soft posture, especially when life rises higher. It must return again and again to the quiet place where it can say, Lord, every good thing I have comes from your kindness, not my skill. Every open door came from your hand, not my strength. Every success is still your mercy, not my achievement. Because life has a way of lifting us, but only God can keep us grounded without breaking us. And deep inside, we know this. We know that the moments we felt closest to Him weren't always the moments we felt strongest. They were the moments we felt honest. The moments we whispered, I can't do this alone, and found His comfort settling into our bones like peace that doesn't need explanations. So if today you find yourself in a good season, a soft season, a season where things begin to work in your favor, let your heart move slower. Let your spirit stay low even when your life rises high. Let humility become the place you breathe, not the place you visit only when life hurts. Because the greatest danger is not success itself, but success without surrender. And the safest place is not the top, but the place where the soul bows, even while the hands build. Where your life can rise, but your heart can remain held, shaped, and steadied by the one who loved you long before success ever found your name. Lord, keep my heart anchored in you whenever life lifts me higher. Protect me from the quiet places where pride grows, and teach me to see every good thing as your grace, not my strength. Help me stay honest, small, and surrendered in your presence. Amen. If this prayer touched your heart, whisper Amen in the comments to bless someone who needs it. And if you'd like more moments like this, gently tap subscribe and stay close with us at 10 Minute with God, a quiet home for souls returning to Him. There is a quiet truth the heart begins to discover only when life starts opening in unexpected ways. A truth that doesn't come with struggle, but with ease. When what you touch grows and what you speak carries weight you didn't realize you had. In those moments, the soul learns something it could never learn in hardship. That comfort can be just as dangerous as pain if it pulls you away from the one who carried you through every valley and taught you how to stand in the first place. There is a certain softness that success brings, a looseness in the spirit, like the shoulders finally relax and the mind finally exhales, believing for a moment that the hardest parts are behind you. And maybe they are, but the heart doesn't grow careless all at once. It drifts, slowly, quietly, almost kindly, as if telling you, you're doing fine, you're strong now, you can handle things. These thoughts don't feel wrong. They feel comforting, even deserved. But the danger is hidden inside the comfort. The soul begins to depend on the feeling of being capable instead of the truth of being held. That is why the seasons of ease require a different kind of vigilance, a gentler but deeper watching over the inner places where identity is shaped. Because when people begin to trust you, admire you, follow your voice, it becomes easy to forget that you once trembled before every decision, leaned on God for every answer, and found your courage only because He whispered strength into your weakness. And you don't stop loving Him in seasons of success. You simply begin to assume you know your way without asking as much. You look forward more than upward. You plan before you pray. You speak before you listen. Not out of rebellion, but out of comfort. Yet comfort without dependence slowly teaches the soul to live without the tenderness that once defined its faith. When life rises, the heart must learn a new rhythm, one that stays low even when circumstances grow high, one that remembers that confidence without humility becomes a doorway for pride, and pride always pulls the soul away from the softness where God is most clearly heard. So the real question is not whether success is good or bad. Success is simply a season, like rain or sunlight. The question is what the soul becomes while standing in it. Does it remain teachable? Does it remember the trembling moments when it needed God desperately? Does it still reach for Him with the same sincerity it had when nothing seemed certain and everything felt fragile? Because the heart that forgets its dependence slowly forgets its direction. It begins chasing outcomes instead of presence, applause instead of truth, progress instead of obedience. And none of those things are wrong until they replace the one who gave you every opportunity in the first place. You see, growth is not the threat. Celebration is not the trap. The real danger is subtle. The soul begins to believe it is strong by nature instead of strong by grace. And when the heart forgets grace, it forgets gratitude. When it forgets gratitude, it forgets surrender. When it forgets surrender, it forgets who it was meant to be. That is why in moments when you rise, the deepest protection is found in going back to the small place inside you where God first met you. The place where your prayers weren't polished but honest. Where your strength was thin but your trust was thick. Where you didn't need success to feel secure. You just needed Him. Returning there doesn't make you weak, it keeps you true. It doesn't diminish your achievements, it keeps them submitted. It doesn't shrink your influence, it keeps your heart clean enough for God to move through it. So let this be the rhythm of your soul. Rise as life rises, but bow as the heart rises too. Let humility be the anchor that keeps your spirit steady when praise gets loud. Let surrender be the quiet place where you breathe, even when your hands are busy and your days are full. And let every blessing become a reminder, not of what you've done, but of who has been faithful through every chapter. Because the safest success is the kind that brings you closer to God, not further away. The kind that reminds you you're still held, still guided, still dependent on the one who shaped your story long before anyone knew your name. Lord, teach my heart to stay small, even when my life grows bigger. Keep me steady, honest, and close to you in every good season. Guard me from the quiet drift that blinds the soul, and let every blessing draw me nearer, not farther, from your presence. Amen. If this reflection spoke to your spirit, whisper Amen in the comments to bless someone who needs peace today. And if you'd like to stay in this gentle space of faith, feel free to subscribe and keep walking with us at 10 Minute with God, a quiet home for hearts returning to Him. There comes a point in the journey where the heart begins to understand that the real battle is not found in the hard seasons, but in the gentle ones. The ones where life no longer feels like a storm you must survive, but a calm wind you can easily get lost in. It is in these quiet stretches where blessings stack softly and opportunities fall into place, where people see the best in you and speak words you once longed to hear, that the soul must decide who it wants to belong to. Not because success is wrong, but because success whispers a story about you that is not always true. A story that tells you you've become stronger than you really are, wiser than you truly feel, more secure than your spirit actually is. And the danger is not in hearing the story, it is in believing it. Believing that the doors you walk through opened because you pushed hard enough. Believing that the respect you receive came from your own stability. Believing that the calm around you came from your skill, not God's mercy. That is the quiet shift that changes a life without ever raising its voice. It doesn't happen with one moment of pride. It happens with a slow forgetting of who held you together before anyone knew your name. So the soul must learn a different kind of honesty in this season, a deeper one. The kind that looks success in the face and says, I am grateful, but I am not self-made. I am blessed, but I am not the source. I am lifted, but I am still dependent. Because the heart that remains dependent never outgrows humility, and the soul that remembers grace never loses its way. And maybe that is the invitation of God in every good moment. Not that you reject the blessing, but that you return to Him within it. That you let every achievement bend you, not inflate you. That you let every open door remind you of the hand that unlocked it. That you let every applause soften your spirit instead of hardening it. Because what matters most is not how high life takes you, but how deeply you remain rooted in the one who shaped your foundation long before your life looked stable. When the soul stays rooted, success doesn't distort identity, it clarifies it. It reminds you that you are a vessel, not the source, a steward, not the owner, a follower, not the hero of your own story. And in that truth, there is a freedom nothing else can offer. The freedom to rise without losing yourself. The freedom to shine without forgetting the light that makes all shining possible. The freedom to grow without drifting from the one who breathed the desire to grow into you in the first place. So if you are standing in a good place right now, if life has opened a gentler road, let this be your surrender. That you will not let the sweetness of this season silence the voice of the one who walked with you through every bitter one. Let this be your offering. That your success will never become the distance between you and God, but the doorway that takes you even closer. Let this be your prayer. That you will stay small in the places that matter, so God can stay big in the places you cannot control. And let this be your posture, that no matter how far you rise, your heart will stay low enough to hear Him, soft enough to feel Him, and honest enough to remember that everything good in you was planted by His hand alone. Because the soul that remembers who it belongs to is never in danger of being changed by success. It is shaped by surrender, strengthened by grace, held by mercy, and guided by a love that doesn't depend on outcomes. And that is where real safety is found, not in the height of your life, but in the depth of your dependence. Lord, keep my soul steady in every season. Let every blessing draw me closer to you, not farther away. Teach me to remain surrendered, grounded, and grateful, no matter how high life rises around me. Hold my heart low and keep my eyes fixed on you. Amen. If this prayer reached your heart, whisper Amen in the comments to share peace with someone today. And if you'd like to stay in this quiet space of faith, gently tap subscribe and keep walking with us at 10 Minute with God, your sacred place to return to Him in every moment.